Well, after that FOMC meet comments by the Federal Reserve, global markets did see a large sell-off. We did see that happen in US markets as well as markets across the world. When we analyze or break down what's happened post that, US markets have been more tempered in their fall on Thursday. While they were volatile, all three indices also closed lower, but they were more tempered. The Dow was down just 2 basis points. It's down 1/3% in trade across the week till Thursday. The S&P 500 closed over 0.5% lower. That index has been over 1.5% lower for the week till date. With regard to the S&P 500, worth mentioning that earnings have been solid. Well, out of the 145 companies roughly which have declared results, almost 3/4 plus have topped analyst expectations in terms of their earnings. Their earnings have been a beat. So that is definitely good news for US markets. When we look at the Nasdaq, that is down around 1.4% in trade on Thursday, and that is down 17.6% across the last 2 months since the highs of November. So that will obviously mean that Nasdaq is in the midst of a correction. Apple has risen and it's released its numbers with earnings topping and beating analyst expectations even in terms of sales. In fact, what we are told is that the sales number has come in higher or the highest ever quarterly sales by Apple. European markets too closed higher despite the Fed commentary. Mind you, Europe is reacting to the Fed commentary probably for the first time, with the DAX up almost 0.5%, the FTSE up over 1%, the CAC up 2/3%, and the Stock 600 is up over 0.5% in trade on Thursday. When we look at the Asian counters on Thursday, well, they were in carnage mode. In fact, you look at the Nikkei and the Kospi, they were down over 3% in trade on Thursday. The Hang Seng was down almost 2% in trade on Thursday as well. So when we look at some of these markets, they were sharply lower in trade on Thursday. Well, Friday is a new day. They've started in the green. Other than the Hang Seng and the Shanghai, everything outside of China is currently well in green. In fact, the Nikkei is up almost 2% as we speak. The ASX 200 up over 1.5%. The Kospi also up 0.4% in trade after being hammered. It was down over 3.5% in trade on Thursday. It's up around 0.4% in early trade today. It's been volatile. That's how I would sum it up. When we look at the SGX Nifty more from an Indian standpoint, well, that is absolutely flat. It's down 0.1%, but broadly the SGX Nifty is looking flat in trade today. When we look at oil prices, they're just below the $87 a barrel mark. Brent is just below the $90 a barrel mark. Gold prices are in a downward spiral. They've lost around 2+% over the last couple of days. Gold is at around $1,800 an ounce or thereabouts. The dollar index is absolutely flat with a negative bias, but it's breached that 97 mark. It was just below the 97 mark exactly a day back. It's breached that, and the US 10-year Treasury yield have tempered down. It's at 1.8%. Bitcoin is flat in trade, surprisingly. It's one of the few less volatile days for Bitcoin in early trade today. Too early to call. It's at the $37,000 mark. That's how global indices are looking to end this week on Friday.